Alright, it's Wednesday. You know what? That means top 10. This week we do not have Sheena again. We are joined by Donna. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
So, our top 10 list. We are doing today, like Huey Lewis and the news says, we're going back in time. Movies made before 1970. This was a tricky one, as mentioned maybe in another video. I'm 36, so before 1970 was a stretch, but thankfully, my mother watched old movies, so...
She taught you to watch old movies.
A little bit. How was the list making process for you?
It was pretty hard because there's a lot of movies made before 1970. So I finally figured out to make the top 10. It has to be a movie that if I see it come on TV while I'm surfing, I will stop and watch it.
It's a good premise. Some of my movies, I had to actually say, since they're movies between 1970, I asked myself, did you buy that movie? So, a couple of my movies I actually just bought because they didn't play on TV and I never saw them. So I'm like, I want to see that movie, and I bought it. So that's how some of them made my list. So, do we have some honorable mentions?
Oh, we do.
All right, what do we got?
Imitation of Life, 1959.
Don't know that one.
Oh, it's, once again, one of those movies that tugs at your heartstrings at the end of it, you know, and about a black girl who wants to pass herself off as white, so she tells everyone her mother is not her mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's her nanny.
Oh, that sounds heartbreaking.
Yeah, and then when her mama dies, she comes running.
She died! Spoiler
yes!
alert! Oh my god, spoilers! I'm gonna have to put that at the lead of the video. Spoilers!
And she goes running to the casket, screaming, I love you, Mama, I love you, Mama. And it's like, oh my God, there tears every time. But it didn't make my top 10.
Okay. Let's go through your honorable mentions.
Okay.
Real quickly.
Harvey.
Okay.
1950. My Favorite Wife. I really like that one. That was in 1940. It's a Wonderful Life. 1946. Easy Rider. 1969. Did not make the top.
Is that Peter Fonda?
Yes.
Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
Born to be Wild at the end?
Yes. Pocket Full of Miracles.
You know, I used to know a guy who said he rode with Peter Fonda.
Really?
Yes. This guy was also a liar sometimes. But, you know, I think he went by the name of B.A. I don't know. Maybe y'all know him. Maybe you don't. Who knows? It's one of the many stories. All right.
I know.
Let's get into it. All right, here we go. We're jumping into it. Movies 1970 prior. Number 10. What do you have?
Number 10. Where the Boys Are. 1960. It is the original Spring Break movie.
Oh. Okay.
You know, there was a lot of beach movies made that were just silly, but this was a really good movie about everybody from college up north and out west going to Florida for spring break. It was really good.
Never seen it. We'll have to check that one out. My number 10, I know this is going to... We'll just say it and we'll just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Number 10, Gone with the Wind. It's very low on my list.
Why would that be?
It is just a long, slow movie. Not it's bad, it's long and slow. And I hate Scarlett O'Hara.
What?
The best part of that whole movie is Rhett Butler. Period. He is trying to be a good person. He's trying to win her over. And she doesn't want any part of it until Ashley died. Who wants Ashley over Rhett Butler? It's Clark Gable.
Well, I heard that, but I mean, that's what makes the movie. Is him waiting for her, you know, through 2 husbands and a civil war, you know.
Well, it's a long movie, and the payoff is wonderful because you get him finally telling her off. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, and out the door he goes. But if you really, so that's wonderful. You feel good. You're like, all right, Rhett, you told her you're moving on, right? And then she's crying, and you're like, oh, well, now she realizes that she lost what she wanted. But then what does she do? Oh, it's fine. I'll think about it tomorrow. Going back to Tara, it's like, didn't faze her one bit. She was a manipulative woman.
No.
Yes!
No, she was just saying life goes on, you know. I can have him or I can't have him. I made it this far without him, you know. She showed she loved him. I don't know why in that one scene where she fell down the steps and lost her baby, and she was laying in her bed, you know, saying, you know, Rhett, but see, they didn't tell him that. And during that time, they wouldn't have let the man in the room.
Yeah, but so when she had something bad happen, then she wanted Rhett.
Well, I don't understand why he fought for her all that time, and then when she was willing to be with him, then he didn't want to be with her.
It was too much. It was too much for him. A man can only go so far. My hypocrisy knows a bound.
That's the greatest love story ever told.
We'll agree to disagree. But it did make my list. But it was just, there was factors, and it's personal opinion. All right, let's move on. Number 9. All right, coming in number 9 after that spirited debate. What do we have?
I have 1967, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Don't think I know that one.
Oh, it has Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. They're always good together. Yeah, but it's about their white daughter comes home and brings a black guy she wants to marry.
Ah. All right.
I think they remade it too.
I think they did I think they made it a comedy though with Ashton Kutcher and.
Oh Lord.
It didn't they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. My number 9, 1960. Classic, and it's in several. Psycho. Albert Hitchcock.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that one.
Yes. It's low on the list, but this was a harder list than I thought. At first, I was like, this list is going to be hard because I don't know that many. Then once we started researching, I'm like, oh gosh. So, but I was like, I think this was one of Alfred Hitchcock's, I don't know, defining movies.
Right, and it stays with you. Just today, I had a grown man tell me he can't close the shower curtain the whole way.
Well, I know a lot of people who can't. So,
so that, I mean, he really made a...
Right.
Whew.
All right. All right, coming in at number 8. What do you got?
1956, The King and I.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, they remade it with Jodie Foster as the teacher. It's like a teacher from here goes over to teach the king how to be a civilized person.
Right.
It's very good.
Nice. Mine, 1964. A Fistful of Dollars.
Ah, with my man.
Yes.
Clint Eastwood.
Yes. I like Western movies. I think that is a genre of movie that has died out, which I think sucks. But I really enjoy them. There's a lot of them, and A Fistful of Dollars is one of the good ones, right? And I didn't put, but A Few Dollars More was also before 1970. Not quite as good, but hey.
I think I may have a cowboy movie in here.
Oh, okay. 7. All right, coming in number 7. What do you got?
1964, Hush Hush, Sweet Scarlet. Charlotte, not Scarlet.
Yep.
Sorry, we were talking about Gone with the Wind.
Hush, Hush,
But it is like one of those movies that you would never guess the ending to. When it first, the first half of it, you would never guess, the ending. And it's a like scary and drama, and it has Betty Davis in it.
Betty Davis. I hear she was the bombshell back in the day.
And those eyes.
My number 7 from 1969 introduced us, I'm calling to an iconic character. Iconic character. Let me say that again so everyone understands. I'm going to say the name of the character, not the movie. Rooster Cogburn. True Grit.
Oh, that made my top 10 too.
Of course it did. It's a fantastic movie.
Yes,
I
it is.
have not watched the remake. I refuse to watch the remake. Won't do it. Not happening.
Some stuff is perfect. Just leave it alone.
I can't do it. I've heard good things about it, but I won't do it. Because, no. Like, you don't have the same person. No. That is an iconic character with an iconic person playing that character.
Right.
Leave it alone.
Right. Because if anybody really had true grit, it was John Wayne. I mean, he beat cancer twice. He had true grit. He was the perfect person to play that part.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, who has more true grit than John Wayne? I didn't care for the sequel, Rooster Cogburn.
Huh?
It was all right, but it wasn't True Grit. I think True Grit was...
Yeah.
True Grit was True Grit. That was it. And boom. And
But Rooster Cogburn had Katharine Hepburn in it.
it did. But again, I say, Westerns.
Yeah.
We don't see them. I can't even tell you what the last good Western movie I saw was. I mean, there's the top 10 list though.
Oh, yeah.
I might be able to get.
Yeah.
I might be able to get somebody on that one. We'll circle back to that at a later time. But True Grit made my number 7, and again, John Wayne is Rooster Cogburn. I understand you remade the movie. No, just no. Moving on. All right, coming in number 6. What do you got?
Raintree County, 1957.
Don't think I know that one.
Oh, it was and it wasn't a Civil War movie. A girl from down south goes up north to visit, falls in love with this guy, they get married, and I don't want to give the movie away, but it is a great movie.
Go watch
it. What's her name with the purple eyes?
Purple Eyes.
Mm-hmm. She was married to Richard Burton several times.
What's the name of the movie?
Raintree County, Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh. Thank you,
Well,
Sheena.
Sheena may not be doing this, but she's helping us in the background.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor, and just the costumes. And I love everything movies about that time aired. I love the dresses and the men tipping their hats and just all of the southernness of it.
All right. My number 6. This movie had me angry because I didn't think about it, but I luckily. And then I was like, how can you not? You own this movie. You own this movie and the sequel, even though the sequel's not as good. This movie has Minnesota Fats, Fast Eddie, The Hustler with Paul Newman.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you right now.
When was that made?
It was 1961. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am a Paul Newman fan. I'm pretty sure anything he does is fantastic. Never tried his salad dressing. I bet it's fantastic. But The Hustler, it's a pool shark movie. And it just a good movie. And I was so angry because I love that movie. But for some reason, I just didn't think it was before 1970.
Right. I like it too, but I thought it was made after 1970.
Right.
I didn't research.
Oh, no. As anybody that's listened to my top 10s, I do a lot of research because once you really start looking, you start digging, you start finding gems like that. Like, The Hustler? And anybody that's listening, the sequel is The Color of Money with Tom Cruise. Not as good, but it's worth a watch if you watch the first one. But the first one's worth several watches. Watch it, buy it, own it, DVD, stream it, everything. Paul Newman. Go look Paul Newman up. Find his movies. They're wonderful. Moving on. All right, here we go. We're cracking the top 5. The top 5 of pre-1970s movie. What you got for number 5?
My number 5 is Giant from 1956. Once again, Elizabeth Taylor, Rock Hudson, James Dean.
I hear he was dreamy.
Uh-huh.
Because that's twice he's appeared on your list, right? Easy Rider.
Yeah.
Was he an Easy Rider?
No.
No, that was the other guy. No, so this is the first James Dean appearance. I heard he was quite the looker. So what's the movie about?
Oil tycoons in Texas. And how they were, I'm starting to wonder now why the movies I like are about trying to get people to treat other people right. Because Who's Coming to Dinner, she was trying to get her parents to accept the black guy. And Giant it this played into it, but this was not, the movie was about oil tycoons, but when Rock Hudson married, his wife came out, she was from somewhere not Texas, and she couldn't believe how the help was treated. The help were Mexicans. Texas, Mexico, makes sense. And she, sent their doctor out. He got all upset and said, no, they have their own doctor, But he came around to thinking like her. Wasn't really a choice.
Well, yeah. Everybody has a type of movie, but I think, we should be treating everybody the same. Everyone deserves human rights. Right. It shouldn't be others get more rights than others, or because, skin tone, sex, religion. I mean, we're all on this planet together, and we could just coexist and,
Right, be good to me and I'll be good to you.
Build a better world. Well,
if I don't know you, I definitely don't hate you. I don't know anything about you.
Well, yeah, and, let's just all try to do better at that. All right, my number 5, I feel like was a classic, 1939, in Technicolor.
Some of it.
Yep.
I know what you're going to say.
The Wizard of Oz. I don't remember the girl's name that played Dorothy.
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, yes. Thank you again, Sheena. Wonderful movie. I watched this movie countless times when I was young and made everyone else watch it. I blame this movie for my fear of tornadoes. Watched it so much when I was little, I convinced myself need to stay the hell away from tornadoes or they'll take you to Oz with flying monkeys and stuff.
Yeah, but if you were channel surfing right now and it was on, would you stop and watch it?
Depends where it was at.
What do you mean?
It depends where in the movie it was at. If it's at the beginning or the middle or...
Huh. It doesn't matter. My top 10 don't matter where it's at. If it's 15 minutes from the end, my top 10, I'm going to stop watching.
That's fair. All right. Let's move on. All right. Coming in, number 4. What you got?
Number 4. This movie scared me as a child. And still scares me. They've remade it, but of course the remake does not stand up to the original. The Haunting from 1963.
Oh, yeah.
The part that I think scared me the most was like when something was outside the bedroom and the door, it was pushing on the door.
Oh, yeah.
That's what scared me as a child. I was just like, oh my Lord. And I will still watch that movie today.
That is a good one. Mine, 1966. This is apparently a running theme with my list that I noticed after the fact. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Another Western, Clint Eastwood. And I remember watching this movie. They played it a lot on TBS. And WCW Saturday Night came on TBS. So sometimes you were early for wrestling and you'd catch the end of this movie. So I guarantee I've seen the ending of this movie more than the whole movie. But as I recall, I don't remember the song. He whistles. But
I don't think it's a song, is it?
I don't know. He just whistles.
Yeah, he whistles.
And that's how they know. And I really like Clint Eastwood. Apparently, Clint Eastwood is just fantastic for me. Which I think he's fantastic anyway.
Yeah, I named my son after Clint Eastwood.
I mean, even the movies he directed, were good.
He's still making good movies.
Right.
What was that last one about? He was an old man. And
Gran Torino?
Yeah.
Right, and not just starring, like I said, directing. He did the Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Oh.
That is a fantastic movie. I love that movie. But Clint Eastwood directed it. So, yeah.
But he started out with westerns. I think maybe that's why he likes them so much. He started out as not the star of, just a part player with Wagon Train.
Oh, well, I think...
Way back in the day.
Again, I think I've said this at least 2 times earlier. Westerns, bring that genre back. We could get rid of one of these other genres to bring it back. Somebody create a good Western. We're lacking, and we need it back.
We need our heroes.
Right. We are coming in at our top 3. What you got?
Sliding in at number 3. African Queen from 1952.
This is the boat ride movie.
The boat ride movie. Katharine Hepburn.
Yep.
And Bogey.
Yep.
I mean, how could that not be right? On a boat. I mean, that's the whole movie, them on a boat. And it is great.
Well,
he wakes up and she's standing there pouring all his liquor into the river. It's good. It's good.
I would have poured her into the river. I'm going in after it. My number 3, 1946. A movie for the past, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. Every year, watch this movie. Every year. Sheena wants to watch it in color, and I won't let her. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, no, that shouldn't be seen in color.
I own this in color because when I bought the DVD, it came with black and white and color. Yet to watch it in color. Won't do it. Watch it in black and white. Enjoy it in black and white. I don't even know what's the guy's name. The actor that plays Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah,
Jimmy Stewart. I didn't have to look it
well,
up.
You know,
I went to look it up.
How did we get Jimmy from James?
Oh goodness gracious! I don't know.
I don't know either. I always said Jimmy.
How do you get Dick from Richard?
Right.
Who
Because
knows?
I always said Jimmy Stewart, but then I noticed that every time I saw his name somewhere, it said James Stewart, and I was like, what?
I don't know, but this movie, I'm going to talk about this movie because this movie is a wonderful movie to me because it is a tale of somebody doing the right thing for his whole life, and he doesn't necessarily see that he's affecting people's life, not just by the things he helps them with or anything, just by being him, he touches so many people's life that when the angel comes and shows him a world without him, it is drastically different. And so much that, watch the movie. See how it ends. Watch the movie. But how many movie shows have been made off this premise since then? Where, I won't not be here, and then they show them a life without them. Like, several different shows have done episodes like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that is a iconic movie. It spawned, and, Jon Stewart, he's a good actor. I like him in the movie, and
And every time I hear a bell ring, an angel gets his wings.
That's right.
Watch the movie.
And you just can't help but sing Buffalo Gals. It's just a great movie. And a great Christmas movie. It made my top 10 Christmas list. I think it might have been number 1 on my list. Great movie. Go watch it. Even if it's not Christmas, go watch it. Also, take something from the movie.
Right.
It's gonna, it might be hard right now, but it's gonna be okay. Your work is being saw and all that, so just keep working. Keep moving forward. Let's move on. Let's move forward on the list.
Okay.
All right, top 2 spots. Oh my goodness. Top 2 spots.
Okay, we've already discussed.
Number 2, what you got?
We've already discussed this movie,
I know what
but
it is.
I rated it higher on my list
That's fair.
because I loved John Wayne. Number 2 is True Grit from 1969.
Well, I mean, I can't argue that. John Wayne, True Grit, he is the man.
I mean, those Johns get me. John Wayne, Johnny Cash.
There's a song, what is it? John Deere, John Wayne, Johnny Cash, or something like that.
Is there?
I think there is.
Huh.
There's a country song. Yeah, I mean, I can't even,
But when he puts the reins in his mouth and goes riding across that field, it's like you can almost feel that.
Yes.
That I've had enough.
Yep. And I usually don't say controversial stuff on these videos, but I'm just going to say it, and whoever can do whatever you want. John Wayne, to me, is what a man should be.
That's right.
That is what a man should be. He's tough when he needs to be tough.
Yeah.
He does what needs to be done. And yes, I know it's a character, but it's fine.
Right. He gets the job done.
Right.
By whatever means.
Right. He doesn't have to like it. He knows what needs to be done, and he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's not going to cry about it. He's not going to complain about it. It's hard. He's just going to do it. He's going to pull up his pants and put on his boots, and he's going to do it. Because he has true grit.
True Grit.
That's right. I cannot argue that.
That's my number 2.
It could have been higher on my list, but so I'm glad you said about John Wayne because this actor apparently has a special place in my heart because he appeared on my list several times.
What?
1967. Cool Hand Luke. Mr. Paul Newman again. Yes.
I didn't know that was 67.
It
I
was.
thought it was in the 70s. See, I did not. I just went by memory.
No, because I had to, because I would think of a movie and then I would have to look the movie up to see if it was, 1967. If you've never seen this movie, you better go watch it. Stop watching this right now and go watch it.
Right.
And then come back for our number one. Give you a little skinny of he gets sent to a work camp for cutting heads off Archimedes. And just, he tries to deal with that. Might have some escape attempts.
He doesn't deal with authority well.
No, he doesn't. And I think he even tells God that at one point in the movie. But it's just a good movie. And there's a scene where one of the guards tells him, Luke, his name is Luke. Says, Luke, what's your dirt doing in boss's hole? And gives him a shovel. So Luke starts digging all this, a hole. He's getting this dirt out of boss's hole. Digging, right? Then he gets, 6 feet down maybe. Boss, right. Boss comes and says, Luke, what's your hole doing in my yard? Or what's your dirt doing in my yard? Get it out. So then he climbs out and starts filling the hole back in. By the time he gets to the field, the original guard comes. Luke, what's that dirt doing? And it's just like, oh my goodness, poor Luke. And they're trying to break him because he's defiant. He has a problem with authority. So they're trying to break him, but it's just like, no. And not to mention the iconic scene of
sex.
What we got here is a failure to communicate, which is the way he wants.
Some men like it.
He gets. I believe Guns N' Roses also used that on their Civil War song. It's at the beginning. The intro is that speech.
But they didn't. They never broke him.
They did not.
And
watch the movie,
everybody at that work camp lived through him. They wish they could be him, you know?
Yeah, side tangent. There's some people in life, and I understand this is a movie, so before everyone gets all whatever, but it still holds true to life. There's some people in life who just have a gusto for life, and just, being around them, watching them, it just makes your life a little brighter because they have this joy in living. And yes, he was defiant, but that was his charm. This world wasn't going to tell him what to do. He was going to go his own path, even though I'm pretty sure most of the time he didn't know what his path was.
Oh, and that was a horrible scene when his mama died.
Yes.
And they locked him up because his mama died.
And actually, that's where the trouble really begins, if you watch the movie. They locked him in the box because his mama died, and they said, usually when that happens, people want to run. So they were taking precautions, but that is really where his trouble started.
Yeah, they punished him.
He was actually happy doing his time until that happened. So, anyway, that's my number 2, and apparently I love Paul Newman. Paul Newman. Fantastic.
He's the man.
All right. We're at the top of the list. Number 1. In Our Hearts. Movies before 1970. What do you have?
My number 1 is Gone with the Wind, 1939.
Nice.
That's the movie. Everybody in the movie is in love with somebody.
Even if it's the wrong person.
Right.
Poor Rat.
You know, and then on top of the love story, you have the Civil War, you know, included in with it. And then what happened after the Civil War, where, you know, supposedly we were going to get help rebuilding the South, but that never came through. But that's another story.
That's for another time.
Right. Another topic,
Well,
another topic.
And not to mention something about this that we know it's not actual footage, but the scenes where Atlanta is being burned, like that is a heartbreaking scenes. And I realize we're not going to go into it here, but I realize war is war, but that was just terrible.
And to be as young as Scarlett was, because she married the first time at 16, and then he got killed in the Civil War, and she went to Atlanta just to kind of, her mama sent her there kind of keep her mind off of it. Then she got caught and couldn't get home to her mama. And when she just cried, you know, I want to go home. That was just terrible.
Terrible. It is a good movie, and it was low on my list, but the other movies on my list, I just like them a lot. And
Better than Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
Wow, I feel sad about that.
Well, everybody has difference of opinion. That's what makes the world great, and you know, we can talk about our differences. We can discuss them. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. There's some movies that didn't make my list.
There's just so many different points in it. You know, like I was saying, there's the Civil War, the different love stories. The story of a woman working, you know, during the 1800s.
There is. And part of my issue is I'm stuck. I only feel bad for Rhett Butler in this movie. Yeah. That is the whole thing for me. I feel bad for this man because he just loves her, and he just keeps trying, and he keeps doing things, and he keeps and keeps and keeps.
You don't feel bad for Melanie?
No. I don't.
Why? I mean, because she stands beside Scarlett through everything.
Yes, you're right. But I think that's why earlier in the video I said Scarlett's just a user. She just uses people. You know?
No, she was like a
user.
A female John Wayne.
No.
Yes.
Negative.
Yes. Yes. She married Mr. Kennedy because the taxes had to be paid at Tara. She did what had to be done, even though that was her sister's fiance.
No.
You know, her sister didn't love Tara like she did.
Yeah,
so she did what she had to do.
Yeah, but if her sister would have married him, the taxes still would have got paid.
No.
Why?
Because her sister didn't love Tara.
Yeah, but her sister wasn't going to let Tara go. Well, it doesn't matter because it didn't happen, so we can only speculate. I disagree with your point about Scarlett.
You know, and then, you know, she took over his store and made it a huge success.
But that's not what he wanted.
Well, then why would you start a business if you don't want it to be a huge success?
He wanted her to love him. Like she loved Ashley.
Kennedy?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Well, we can't put that on her that every guy fell in love with her.
She shouldn't have married them.
What else could she do?
I'm just saying, if they would have made a movie about Rhett Butler after the fact, actually, there's a book.
There is a book.
But
I have it called Rhett.
All right, I would have watched it. If that, and there was I would not have watched a movie just about Scarlett.
No.
But I would have watched one about Rhett, because I feel like it would have been,
And they did a movie, something, We Be Gone?
What? Oh, The Wind Done Gone.
Right. No, I didn't watch that. I felt like somebody slapped me in the face.
I don't know, but I don't have the same feeling for you.
I just don't think people should, that these movies are classics. And I don't think they should be, lost out of society because they all teach us something.
Yes. And despite whatever, it happened. There's no getting past that. Whatever, it happened. But
The Civil War?
yes, all of it. Right. So, we can't forget. If you forget the past, you're doomed to repeat it. So,
Right, and that's just, as a Southerner, it's your heritage. You didn't do it. You didn't have anything to do with it. But it's your heritage. That doesn't mean that you have to act like they acted back in 1864, but it's there. It's, it happened, and no matter how many statues we tear down or how many protests, it's not going to take it away from history. And that I find that strange because, like, the Jewish people were so just brutally treated by the Germans. But they...
Nazis, by the Nazis.
Oh, by the Nazis.
Yes, well, we're not going to lump all Germans in.
But they kept the prisons so that, they're open for people to go and see them and visit them, because they want people to remember. So it never happens again. That's what, when they tore down the Berlin Wall, I was like, uh-oh, they put them all back together again. But it's been calm over there so far.
Yep. Okay, so my number one.
Sorry.
It's fine. My number one.
Rambling.
I'm going to call an all-star cast. Tennessee Williams. Elizabeth Taylor. Let me give you the date on which this movie was. 1958. Tennessee Williams, Elizabeth Taylor. And, of course, my man, Paul Newman.
Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor?
Yep. And Tennessee Williams. The Mendacity. Cat on a hot tin roof. I love that movie. That movie is so good.
I thought Tennessee Williams was a writer.
Nope, he's Big Daddy. If you haven't seen it,
He was Big Daddy?
I think so.
No.
If you haven't seen that movie, go see it. Oh.
Burl Ives?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Burl Ives. I don't know. Oh, he's a playwright, so...
Right. He
wrote
it.
wrote it. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my bad. But if you haven't seen this movie, go see this movie. Well, find it somewhere and see it.
It is good. And it will make you stop and think.
That's right. It's a wonderful movie. It might have one of the most hated characters in cinema. The sister.
Oh my gosh, she's so annoying.
The sister wife.
And her children.
Oh my goodness.
And I like children, but not if you just let them be wild, like they come out of the woods somewhere.
But my man Paul Newman killed it. And Elizabeth Taylor, of course, it's Elizabeth Taylor. So, and what'd you say his name was? Burl Ives as Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Those three were just great. The movie is really, I just love it. This is a movie I purchased because
have it?
Yes, I own this movie. And
where'd you find it?
I bought it online because it's not, I don't have a DVD. It's the digital copy. But, so our hero, Mr. Paul Newman, used to be a football star and broke his leg, and now, he's married to Elizabeth Taylor, and, he thinks some shenanigans happening. There's
some jealousy.
Right, they're having some marital difficulties, and Big Daddy is, of course, Paul Newman's father.
Right.
And he's not in the greatest health, and he starts declining, and they're all there for the weekend, for a holiday. Is it Louisiana?
For his birthday.
Yeah, for birthday. Is it Louisiana? Mississippi? I forget where it is.
It's somewhere down south.
Right, it's somewhere in the south. But it's a really good movie. Paul Newman is, some would say, an alcoholic in this movie. But, we don't judge. But great movie. Go check it out.
Yes, you will learn something from that movie too.
Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And that's what Big Daddy keeps saying. The mendacity. The mendacity.
When you're facing that final call, you look at life, I think, probably different.
Right.
When you have regrets, I think everybody has something they regret.
Right, and the
not necessarily something they did to somebody. It may be something they wanted to do and then, never took the time to do.
Right, and
something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just a good movie. Check it out. And that's why it made my number one. There's few movies that just and this is one of those movies that I watched the first time and was like, huh. And then, and then when I bought it, I'm like, okay, clearly this is a movie for you because you're watching a movie from 60 whatever. It's 2019.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
So,
all of these movies, you cannot find anything today that would stand up beside
it's true.
These classics.
All right. Let's go on. All right. Thanks for going back in time with us pre-1970s movies. What a list. What a list.
Yeah.
I think all these movies are classic movies. I think they all used to play on Turner Classic Movies, actually.
Yes, I'm sure they have.
As we were just talking about, you should share beloved movies, that you have. If you're an older person, from your younger days, with your children, with your grandchildren, with, just your friends. Don't let these classic movies just fade away into nothing.
Well, that's how Ted Turner got TCM. They were going to throw Paramount and some of the studios were going to throw all of these films away, and he bought them. And now he made a good deal. And thank God he saved them so that the rest of us, could see them.
Right. I mean, they're, like you said, it would be hard to find movies nowadays that will hold up as well as these movies. Because some of these movies we're talking about 50, 60
Yeah, right.
years old.
Right.
So, I mean, how are movies that come out today going to look, in 50, 60 years? Are there going to be movies? What are movies you're going to look back? You know what? Here, I'll sum this up for everyone. As the great singer George Jones said, who's going to fill those shoes?
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to fill the shoes of those movies that are classics? That just pull at your heartstring, as some of these movies, or that make you stand up like John Wayne and have true grit and do what needs to be done. Who are the Hollywood characters that you're going to look back and say, these were iconic figures? What was
Katharine Hepburn.
Right. Elizabeth Taylor, Paul Newman, Clint Eastwood,
Cary Grant.
Right.
James Dean.
John Wayne.
Connie Francis.
Right. These are iconic actors, and just because
Spencer Tracy.
just because they might.
And any of these movies, you can watch any of these movies with your kids or your grandkids, and you don't have to worry about the movie. You know, you don't have to worry about nudity, you know, or sex scenes, or language.
Now, we're not saying we don't like those things. But
Well, no, I'm just saying,
right.
These are movies you can watch in front of anybody, because there's some movies, you know.
Right.
I'm embarrassed to watch in front of my grandson, or with my grandson.
Yeah, so, you know, I really like this list because it was, you know, a walk through the past. And yet some of these movies, as we've discussed, if they're on TV, you know, you'll watch it. So not only was it a walk through the past, it's still the present for us. I think for more people, you know, you need to watch these classic movies. Don't just be on the new hot movie box office blockbuster that's coming out. You know, take some time to go back and watch, you know, your favorite. I mean, not just before 1970. Go back, watch your favorite 80s movie.
Right.
Go back, watch your favorite 90s movie. You know, share your favorite, you know, pre-70s movie with somebody, you know. Check out some of the ones on our list if you haven't seen them. Although I'm pretty sure you've seen them.
Right, like Gone with the Wind won 10 awards. Oscars for everything, you know.
Well,
It was hard to make that movie.
I'm sure it was.
I mean, just the one scene where they pan over where Scarlett is looking for the doctor, and they pan over all of the men laying in the field. Good Lord. I can imagine if they just paid each one of those people $50 a day. It was buku bucks.
Yeah, and I mean, not all of these movies, I mean...
Go to Turner Classic Movies on your TV and watch.
Or your streaming device.
Watch and smile and remember.
Yes, and, you know, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate Donna for being with us and sharing her list and, you know, her thoughts on some other things. We kind of went off topic a little times, but as we found out already, we do that, and that's fine. And, you know, for anybody that might be listening, watching, that disagree with opinions that were said, let's just cover this right now. We can have different opinions about things and still all get along. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean the person is right or wrong. That's why it's called an opinion, because it's theirs to have. So, you know, as always, I appreciate everybody who listened and watched. And if you'd like to have Donna back for another list, let us know what list, you know, or maybe you have another list. We'll think about it.
Yeah.
So, thanks, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe. And we'll just leave you with, I hope everyone enjoys their week. And I hope everyone just makes the world a better place.
Amen.
Somehow. So, thanks for listening. And this is us saying goodbye.
Goodbye.